Hello, welcome to this edition of the SCP Podcast. My name is Jacob Engelskirger. I'm a co-chair of the 2024 SCP conference along with Shannon Jennings. And I'm here today to bring you a little bit of insight into one of the wonderful concurrent sessions that we have available to you at this year's conference. I have here with me Dr. Liz Sweigart. And it'd be great, Liz, if you could take a few moments and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Well, first, Jacob, I just want to thank you for all of the effort, the care, the attention, the passion, the energy that you have brought to this year's conference as co-chair. It's amazing, especially as a newer member of the society. So just really appreciative of you and Dr. Jennings, of course. But I just know that this is a heavy lift, and I appreciate everything that you're doing for the society and frankly for our profession. So thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate that.
It's a pleasure to be with you today. Let's see. I'm Dr. Liz Sweigart. My background is varied. I've got a 20+ year career in business and finance and people and
Wow.
operations and tech. I started off in international tax and transfer pricing at Arthur Andersen many, many moons ago. May the firm, actually, the phoenix has risen from the ashes. So Andersen is back. And I've been an investment banker. I've been a nonprofit finance exec. I've been a partner at a global public accounting firm. And now I am flexing my PhD in organizational leadership psychology in the emerging field of Web3 and the decentralized web. And I am also very proudly at the conference going to take on the role of president-elect of SCP. The Society of Consulting Psychology, Division 13 of the American Psychological Association. And I couldn't be more thrilled. This is an incredible group of dedicated professionals who are redefining in the market what it means to bring psychology as a consultant to individuals, businesses, entrepreneurs. This is an exciting time for our profession, and I couldn't be happier to be part of the conference, to be part of the leadership of our society, and to be here with you and our listeners today. So thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, and we're so thrilled and honored to have you as a part of the society and as the new president-elect. That's wonderful. Well, thank you for being here with me, and I know that you are doing this wonderful concurrent session on Web3 technology, and I wanted to ask you a few questions about it, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah. To start, for the uninitiated, could you tell us what Web3 even is?
What is Web3? So Web3 is the latest incarnation of what we understand of as the internet. So when we think back to the 80s and early 90s, we had Web 1. And Web 1 was basically the government. The government figured out, oh, we have computing power and we can get computers to talk to each other. And now we can get them to talk to each other when they're not connected with a wire next to each other. Whoa, what could we do with this? And so the first iteration of the internet was really primarily used in the defense industry by government. Web 2 comes along. And when we talk about Web 2, what we're talking about is the corporatization of the internet. And that is when we see large corporations come in and we find that companies are centralizing the access to the internet. So when you think about the web right now, there's really about 4 companies that control the computing power that makes the internet as we understand it possible. And that level of centralization has a lot of efficiencies and benefits. It also, though, creates some challenges. When you have essentially the internet operating almost as a monopoly, then it's very easy if one of those organizations goes down or it's sold to somebody who decides that they don't really want to keep with the data policies that they've been using, or they want to provide information to governments. all sorts of things can happen when you have that level of centralization. And so there's a movement underfoot around what we call the decentralized web. It's also known as D-Web, and that's sort of the big umbrella term. Underneath D-Web, there are a ton of different technologies that rely on peer-to-peer interactions between computers. So if you think about the amount of computing power that exists in the world, for example, my washing machine sends me a push notification to my phone when it has finished a load of laundry, in addition to singing the song of its people. The amazing thing is that my washing machine has more computing power than it took to actually put somebody on the moon. When you think about all of the devices we have and how much idle time they have, there's a lot of excess computing capacity in the world. What if we could link up all of these devices? What if we could tap into this unused computing power? What if we could empower people to create networks within their communities where it's not going through these central points? What if we decentralized the internet? And so within these technologies, we see things emerging that are largely brought to us by the gifts of things like cryptography, which is what allows us to have blockchain, which is essentially an immutable, permanent, decentralized ledger. It gives us the ability to have cryptocurrencies, to be able to establish different ways of having an economy. So Web3 is a very broad and many technology encompassing term. And the companies that are building within it are doing everything from social media to financial transactions.
Wow. There's a lot there. Thank you for spelling that out. So I'm wondering what in the world a consulting psychologist is doing in that field. To be very blunt, Liz.
What's a nice girl like you doing in an industry like that? Well, and that's part of it, right? So one of the things is that there is a lot of stereotypes around Web3. That it's all speculators and crypto bros, and that there's not a lot of space for traditional things. Well, what I've been very fortunate to find in the founders that I've worked with, the organizations that I've worked with, is that there's also an understanding that all of this technology, first and foremost, is built by people. And it's built to be used by people. People are at the heart and center of it. And when it comes to the people who know people the best, psychologists. When it comes to people who know people and what they do in groups and what they do to form organizations, that's psychologists. It's social organizational psychologists. And it's the consulting that we can bring, our consultative approach, where we can help these organizations as they build up, as they look to create innovative products and services to serve people. We can one, help them to people better, and we can help them to center the people who will be using and being impacted by the products that they're bringing to market.
Wow. Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's the people behind the technology.
It is.
Sounds like.
It is. People are at the heart of everything. And the companies that I have seen be the most successful in this space and in every other are the ones who are human-centered. The ones who recognize that people are at the center of everything we make, everything we do. Those are the companies that are most successful. And so the ones that recognize who knows about people, the ones who recognize the benefits that psychologists bring, they're reaping huge benefits right now, especially in this space.
Okay. And so given all this, in simple terms, what would you say your session is about?
My session is going to do a deep dive into a couple of projects that I was brought in and paid as a consultant to do in the Web3 industry. The first one is with an emerging company that works in blockchain technology, and they are looking to build a community online. And the community is decentralized. The community is largely autonomous. It's all people who are interacting with one another virtually. And they wanted to understand, what is the emerging culture of this community that we've built that will be using our product and will be engaging in building applications using our software. And what do they value? What matters to
Yeah.
them? What do they think are the most important skill sets for being successful as a software developer or product designer in this environment?
Yeah.
And so I worked with them to do a pretty straightforward psychology research project, engaging this community and figuring out, how do we work in an environment where no one is interacting in person. Everything is happening digitally. We have people from 40 something plus countries speaking 30 plus different native languages, all interacting through essentially a social media platform. What do we do to understand their culture, their values, and the skills that they want to build up to be successful? And the other one that I will be touching on is a project that I did with a decentralized social media company. They are using a new protocol, so not a platform. We're used to social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, X, but a protocol. And this was an organization that asked me to come in and work with them to develop their roadmap. And I will talk about, what does that even mean? And what are all of the places that consulting psychologists may not have previously seen themselves being able to work or deliver great value in this space, particularly emerging the bleeding edge of technology. And I'm excited to kind of relay what happened with these projects, lessons learned, and hopefully inspire attendees to pursue opportunities in this industry or maybe another that they hadn't necessarily thought of as being accessible or open to them, and just get those systems thinking juices going.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And how do you plan on engaging participants in your concurrent session?
Well, first, I'm looking to provide a little bit of kind of more lecture style to get people up to speed on what we're talking about and build some familiarity with the terminology.
Sure.
There will
Sure.
actually be some small group or table exercise because I want to give people a chance to go through the process that I did with these projects and think through, how might they look to engage. Essentially follow along with the process and see what they might have done differently or what they might have done similarly to what I did. And then lastly, I'm looking to hopefully bring one of the clients that I worked with to join me because they live in the Austin area, and Austin is the location of our conference this year. And so there'll be an opportunity for some interactive Q&A and conversation, I hope, to really bring this alive and help people to see the way that our profession is applicable in so many areas, some of which we might not have previously thought we would find a home.
Wow. Well, I'm sold, Liz. I will myself. I'm fascinated by these topics. I think having an opportunity to engage with some hands-on learning and working through things oneself in a session like yours is fantastic, and I'm really excited for it.
Well, I am too. I'm excited to see you in Austin in person. And I'm looking forward to seeing our colleagues and also just taking in all of the great opportunities to learn from and with each other. This is the conference is a highlight of the year. And I am excited for all of the learning, the sharing, the collaboration, the friendships, and the opportunities that are going to come out of it. And so, again, I thank you and Dr. Jennings, and especially a big shout out to our conference sponsors for helping to make this possible. We
Absolutely.
couldn't do it without them. And I appreciate all that, and the leadership of the society, again, making this a priority and bringing us all together.
Absolutely. I'm on the same page with you about all of that. And unfortunately, that's about it for our time today. But it's been so great to have you here. Really appreciate your active involvement and engagement in SCP, Liz. And I will look forward to seeing you as well in Austin, as well as all of you listening and watching in. Feel free to come up to me and introduce yourself if we haven't met yet. But that's it for now. Bye.
Thanks again. Bye.